Hey there, welcome to the channel. So today the market took another leg down. Hey there, so let's have a look at the SPY. So here I'm going to look at the 15-minute chart, 5-day, and you can see that yesterday we had, just a sell off the whole day. And today was really a continuation of it. Interesting too, very strong volume at the end of the day and a very strong down at the end of the day. So it was a very weak day in a weak close. So it definitely was not typically the way you want to end the week. Kind of similar for the IWM, really heavy closes here. It may be just due to the week closing at the week, or maybe not. I mean, okay. So the QQQ is a little less of a difference. See the volume here, 6.5 million in that the closing 15 minutes. QQQ is kind of typical, but it's interesting on the SPY. You just have this situation where, look, closing is at over 20 million, very high closing negative bar at the end of the week. So I just want to take a really quick second. Let's try to look to last week, see as well. Yeah, so let's see, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Yeah, kind of interesting. So we had really strong closing volume this week. Last week, it looks like it's probably like at SPY. They have a lot of volume on that Friday for whatever reason, but definitely a lot of selling volume there. So it just really not a great day in the market and indices. And let's see where that puts us in the big kind of picture. If we're looking at the big picture here, and we can kind of see that, it kind of just, now we put in another down week. So if you look over here, in the SPY, we had come down, broken the important moving averages, little death cross. We tried to come back up, and now we're failed, and we're very solidly below the important, 50-week and the 10-week, which are analogous to the 200-day and the 50-day moving average. So this, is a kind of just sealing the deal that this is definitely seems to be just following through on that bear market kind of a situation. And then we look at the Qs. Yeah, and see on the Qs, you're getting to that point where you're getting to the lows. And so now next week, we're going to really have to have some testing here. Are we going to break through those lows? And if are we going to come to lows in here? We're going to try to find any support from earlier on the way up. That's going to be a really tough one to see. So we have to see about that, but it's definitely really bear markish. And IWM just is actually really weird. This is in a consolidation period, and but the IWM behavior here is very steppy. So it kind of just, if you look, it's very flat periods. Try to break out flat, steps down, goes to consolidation. It seems to be kind of a stepping type of a indice right now. And then if we look at like RK, see what that one looks like for our speculative guys. Yeah, really close to a new low in RK, a new 52-week low. Yeah, because really close here. You're right on that low. So that's not really a positive sign for that as well. If we go ahead and we take a look at our oil. So the oil, is still consolidating. We still have these symmetrical kind of triangles going on in all the oils. You got something like this, still compressing down. We'll see. It's going to be interesting because we have Macron getting, we'll see if he wins the election, or will Le Pen win the election. And, like I said, I wonder if that will open up the taps to, have the EU start, banning imports of oil. Now, in the 10-year, for a week, it was pushing up to 2.9. It's a little more of not a big move on the week for the interest rates, but it's just pushing its way up. And wheat, let's see what wheat did. Wheat hopefully coming down a little bit, but not holding out. I think the food situation is going to be really just problematic because right now we're in April, and matter of fact, I just planted some carrots and some radishes in my little home garden last weekend, and it actually started sprouting already. So that was really good. But the point is, I think like in it's like that muddy season in Ukraine, and it's like they really have to do their planting soon. If you don't have enough time for those seeds to fully grow, you're not going to get a high yielding crop. And so a lot of that is very problematic. So for wheat and stuff, it's not really good. Let's see how UNG is doing. Yeah, UNG pulling back nicely. I mean, it has to pull back a lot because it's just got so overdone so quickly. And USO still compressing, so it looks like you're kind of in the USO. You're looking at ascending kind of triangle move there. So kind of a crappy week in the market. It really just put a downer. I think it just capped the week with a really down. I think we can go, you can go back and look at other periods of time when you have this kind of setup. And a reminder, this is a weekly chart. This is a year and a half worth of data. And, I think like, this week and the previous 2 weeks have kind of really just set the tone for that we're in for something much bigger than what we had previously in quite a while. So now you're getting to that zone where these corrections, these are bigger than what we've had recently. Now, the difference is, so the problem is we have all this stuff that happened that's really messed up. And a lot of it with this cerveza sickness. So the problem is what happened back here with the cerveza sickness. So if you look, you can see that you had this consolidation in 15 and 16, but we're really just consolidating there. And then we really had a big hiccup in 18 here. And then we broke out and went higher. And then we really had the cerveza sickness shut down back here in 2020. But what's interesting here is that, they came in and they really bailed this out as much as they could. They just printed whatever money they can. So when they had this happen here and this all fell apart because they deliberately shut down the economy, the reason this happened is because they did stimmy checks, they poured dollars into the economy. So that's the thing to keep in remember. And at this time, inflation was very low. Inflation was very low. So now we're in a situation now where inflation is very high. We have very high persistent prices. Maybe it's going to get to the point where it's going to level off for a bit and start to go down a little bit, but we're still very high. We got the Fed, trying to talk the market up into 50 basis point increases and stuff like that, because they really want to shut down this inflation. So it's a very different. So behind these charts, there's very different stuff. This time was very different over here because we didn't have inflation. And if you kind of been watching the Fed and you've been watching the markets for a long time, the Fed has struggled. They've kept interest rates this low for like a decade. They raised them a little bit and then they had a hiccup, and they've kept them very, very low for a decade. They had them at zero forever. And then I think it was back in 2015, they raised them a little bit for a while. But see, throughout all this time, they were really struggling to get what they called, the inflation that they wanted, that 2% inflation. Now they're up here at, anywhere between 5 and 7%, however you measure it. So it's a very different. They know the inflation is much higher than they want. They're getting pressure from, probably from the White House and whatever. So they got to do something. So they're not your friend. They're going to shut this thing down. So when we get out here and this market is basically having the issues that it's having right now, are they going to come out and bail this thing out right away? Who knows, but I would suspect not. I think first thing to note right now is this is all very orderly. This kind of decline is very orderly at this point. It was not like what you saw back in the cerveza thing where it just gapped down and you had those, basically you had limit down days. You had those 6% down days back when they were shutting everything down in the cerveza thing. So this is very orderly. So as long as it's orderly, they can let it go down quite a bit, I would think, before they do anything. Well, so that's it for this one. Talk to you later. Bye.